All right, going live from Athens, Greece. It is 1:30 a.m. my time, probably a lot less than that your time. Let's see what we got. Just gonna go live for a little bit, let y'all know that we made it all right. We had a day of just kind of relaxing and eating and walking and eating and had a couple beers and some frappedes, iced coffees, and then eating and travel and more eating. There's a lot of eating. This vacation might get me in a little bit of trouble in getting used to solid black shirts for a while when we get home because there's a lot of eating. What's going on, old school? What's going on, Bobby? Good to see you guys. So yeah, Kiwi, what's up, brother? Yeah, we made it. We're here. All is good. The flight, I gotta tell you, American Airlines, Boeing, I think 777, it was tight. It was very, very tight. What's going on, Mother of Dragons? The seats, not the, but the giving squished sardines. I'm nearly blind. If I don't have my glasses or contact lenses on, I can tell you I could have taken off my contacts and still watched the screen in front of me because it was like right here. Very friendly to the visually impaired, let me tell you. Sleep was tough. I was in and out of sleep for a little while, such that when we got to where we're staying, I couldn't stay awake. We all passed out for about 3 or 4 hours, which is going to make it tough to sleep tonight. But once I get off the live, I'm going to try to crash. Doreen, thank you. We did. We made it safely. Manuel, how are you? Glad you made it. We did. Pamela, how are you? Katie, a little bumpy too. Lots of turbulence. But other than that, it was okay. I mean, it's 9 hours flying through the air in a metal tin can. It was as good as it's going to get. I will say I would prefer they not make us march through first class on the way to our economy seating. That seemed a little bit rude because then it's like right in your face. You see what it could have been like, and then you saw what it was like. And those two things not the same. What's going on, Brian? How are you, Kristen? Bobby, just think of those seats going home after all that food. I can't imagine. I'm hoping the walking offsets it a little. Joe, what's your question? Hello, coming in from Brazil, Rio de Janeiro. Saying hello right back from Athens, Greece today. Thank you, Pamela. Linda, how are you? Good to see you, honey. Brazilian, love your channel. Thank you. You know, guys, I've got my mother here with me. Go Bills. I've got my younger brother. My older brother is currently in Chalkidiki, Califea. We're going to meet up with them on the 11th. So there's going to be a lot more family involved once I get going tomorrow. We'll start the trip in earnest, visiting the Acropolis and doing some more touring. Thank you. Good to see you, German Burundian Jew. So it's going to be, but I'm drawn. So this isn't my first time in Greece. My parents came to the United States in 1965. They had me in 1970. I was born in the States, of course. But growing up, we came to Greece a lot. Growing up, my wife's family came to Greece a lot because, like us, they immigrated to the States. And that trip, those trips, going to see my grandparents, going to see Yayadis and Papudis, going to see my Exaderfia, my cousins, was different than this. It was we'd get to the airport and an uncle would pick us up from the airport and take us to my Tia Marianti's house or my Tia Artemisula's house or my Papu's house. It wasn't going to an Airbnb with a view of the Parthenon. If you haven't been on Facebook, I've been sharing a ton of pictures there. It's breathtaking. But no, we didn't sleep in a bedroom that's set up and nice and yes, my wife is Greek as well, Katie. My wife was actually a Greek citizen because she was born overseas and came to the United States at 3 years old. So she became a naturalized citizen, but she actually was born outside of the U.S. We slept on the floor. My kids are like, oh, I like my bedroom. Oh, this is nice. It's got its own TV. It's got its own air conditioning unit. Oh, my girls have their own bathroom. That's not how vacations were for us growing up. Do I know about Zillennials? I do. I know Zennials, and have I lost weight? God, no. Today, I'm assuming I've probably gained weight. It's the black T-shirt. Prepare to see a lot of them to hide the fat as I'm eating my face off here. But our vacations were so different. It was not a let's go touring. let's go eat out. It was, we're going to see family. And I'm giving my kids a different experience, not better experience, different experience. Because I loved those years coming in with my aunts and uncles and cousins. It was just different. Dude, those Greek pastries looked so good, Brian. We didn't do any of the pastries yet. That'll come. Zillennials know a lot about what you say, but we're ignored too. Now, you guys are on the Gen Z millennial side. So there's Zillennials and there's Zennials. Zennials are X, it's like the Generation X millennials. That might be what you're trying to say. That one starts Xillen. It's a hybrid of Gen X and millennials. There's also a hybrid of millennials and Gen Z, but that's a different story. I think those are the Zillennials. Yes, Zennials are, I think, what you're probably speaking to. Born in 93. Yeah, that would be millennial, Zennial, close. Listen, I don't gatekeep it. If you grew up near feral, if you grew up free range, if you grew up before cell phones, if you grew up without the internet, if you grew up playing outside 3 channels on TV, some of the best movies, some of the best music ever, if you grew up in a time where imagination was still necessary to play toys and play games, where electronics were limited, that I don't gatekeep that. If that was your upbringing, hell, if somebody's raising kids like that today, they will recognize a lot of the stuff we talk about. So the year you were born probably has less to do with it than how you've lived the years since you've been born. What's going on, Ernestine? Like, remember the end of dial-up and landline? Exactly. Class of 88 here, World Wars. So the plane ride wasn't bad. The taxi in from the airport to where we are in Sindagma Square was pretty decent. The food has been amazing. Already had souvlaki, already had gyros, already had saganaki, had some frappe, had a couple Greek beers. What else have we tried? Just it's getting into it. Free range, like we're a bunch of chickens. Well, a lot of people say we grew up feral. And feral indicates a wildness that might make sense, but I wasn't wild. I wouldn't bite someone if they came up to me, but free range is a more apt description for the way I grew up. We weren't not fed. We didn't have to eat out in the wild, although sometimes we did. Our parents did clothe us. They did have a roof over our heads, foods in our stomachs, shoes on our feet. They provided the basics, but that was about it. We're still going to claim our Gen X status. Go for it. I think that's awesome all day long. Listen, we're a really small demographic. We're about 68 million strong. Compared to the millennials and the boomers, we get lost in the shuffle. So we're always taking applications. Kids in the 70s and 80s had a sense of adventure. They did World War, and it was an actual in the real world adventure. It was being able to get on our bikes and be 5 miles from home, 10 miles from home, maybe not quite so much, but easily 5 miles from home. And our parents just basically heard us on the way out, right? We're going out, Mom, I'm heading out, if they were home at all to begin with. So those were real life and the real world adventures without any parent oversight. That's what makes it free range. I was born in 1980. Oh, you're welcome, Vincent. What made me start this channel? It was accidental. My youngest daughter and I were just making videos to pass the time during COVID on TikTok of all places. And she was asking me a couple questions about what it was like to grow up. Just sincerely. Like I would ask her, so what do you do with your friends? And then she asked me, well, what do you do with your friends? And we started talking about it and silly little things that I thought pertained only to me. I'm like, well, this isn't going to go anywhere. This is my story. And I realized that those of us born sometime in the mid-60s to those of us born sometime in the mid-80s, at the very least, share a lot in common. Things that we grew up thinking, things that we look back and think, well, gee, that was only me. I thought that only happened to me. I thought I was the only one that felt that way. I thought I was the only one that thought those things. I thought I was the only one whose parents did that. And then we discover social media as a group, and we use it differently than kids do. I think kids are in trouble today because their use of social media is dividing them. It's making them feel isolated. We're using social media the way we always have, whether it was AOL Instant Messenger or Yahoo Messenger, ICQ, or AOL chat rooms. We use social media to bring us together so that we can make the world a smaller place. And that's what we've done here too, is to just talk about how much alike we are, whether I'm black or white, rich or poor, city or country, United States or New Zealand or Athens, Greece. It doesn't matter. We share so many things in common. And at a time when the world is really divided, when it seems like the entire world is one giant schoolyard pick where half of us are on one side and half of us are on the other and can't agree on anything, it's really nice to put all those disagreements on the side and just laugh about the fact that our parents beat the tar out of us when we were stupid as kids. I hope that answers the question. What else y'all got? Help me get tired to get to 1:40 in the morning now, as jet lag is wreaking havoc on me. As a millennial, I'm such a fan of Gen X. You guys have so much knowledge and experience, but no one listens to you. Thank you for sharing your experience. What do you know about Gen Jones? So Gen Jones or young boomers have a lot in common with Generation X. They are technically boomers. They grew up in the shadow of the Kennedy assassination, the moon landing, Watergate, but they have less boomer tendencies in terms of they do remember when technology started to come into play. They do remember divorce becoming a thing. They didn't all have that nuclear family where mom was home in the dress and the apron, waiting for you to come home from school and dad was at work. So they began to change a little bit. So they're on the other side of it. Can I curve my Brit a little more, please? I can, but I like it just like that. Well, maybe that's too much. There we go. I know you're joking. What's going on, Roger Dodge? Carl Lover says 1 a.m. here. Where are you coming in that it's 1 a.m., Carl Lover? Calgary, Alberta, Canada. How old am I? I am 55 years old. Yeah, Kiwi, you got me beat. You're even further ahead than I am, but I'm getting closer. (5:42 p.m.) Yeah, if I was back home in Charlotte, it would be about 6:42. You're welcome, Marilyn. Thank you for watching. Love how your videos describe how I grew up. A lot of us, Almo, right? It's we all experience that stuff. I'm just glad we got here all right. It was a long trip. Is that an X-Men watch? It's actually a Swatch watch. It's a Gen X era Swatch watch. What's going on, Jeremy? Yep, I'm here. I made it. I'm alive. Yeah, this was a gift from a friend for my birthday. It's an actual Swatch, and it happens to be an X version of it, so it's fitting. Yeah, Ernestine, that's my home time zone. Who's my favorite superhero? Probably a toss-up between Superman and Batman, although I gotta say, as a kid, it was Robin. I loved the fact that there was this kid that was, relatively speaking, my age, and he was doing all these cool things. Batman was right in the thick of it, and yet so was this kid. Batman was swinging from a bat rope and doing all these amazing things, and yet so was this kid. Batman was like punching and zap, bang, boom, and so was this kid. So I love the idea of Robin because it kind of put us right into the action. Even the old 60s era television show we watched, the comic books I read, the Super Friends cartoons we watched, Robin was right in the thick of it. And the whole idea of a sidekick was to give us kids something to relate to, although looking back, it's child abuse. Thank you, Elmo. Vacation's going to be a long one. Day one is done. Normally, dream nights, I'm a Western New York transplant that's now living down south in Charlotte. What do I do for a living? David, honestly, you're looking at it. The primary revenue that I bring in for my family went from a lifetime in banking to now content creation. Isn't Greek Orthodox similar to Catholic? It is. The only true differences, the major differences between the Greek Orthodox religion and the Catholic Church We even say the Holy Catholic, we believe in one Holy Catholic Church. We say the Apostles' Creed. The difference is we don't believe in the divinity of the Pope. Catholics believe that as soon as a Pope is ordained, everything out of his mouth, every decision he makes, everything he does is divine in nature. We're like, no, he's just a dude. He's a really good dude. He's a pious dude. I hope he's a righteous dude, but still a dude. So there's that. And then the second thing is the differences in the Gregorian versus the Julius Caesar's calendar, Julian calendar. Our Easter still goes by the old calendar. So our Easter is usually about a week after standard Catholic Easter. Laura says, my son lives in Buffalo. I always miss the name of your restaurant there. He'll visit for sure if he hasn't already. My brother owns a bunch. They're just quick service restaurants called Cluck Cluck Moo Moo. It's basically chicken and burgers. What's going on? I'm Gold. A lot of Catholics disagree with some of the things the Pope says. I'm sure. Without a doubt. I mean, we're not saying we don't trust the Pope. As I said, I think he's a good dude, but he's not divine because he's human, and humans err. So there's that. Southern Taurian, how are you? Good to see you. But I hope you guys are going to enjoy the content. Obviously, the next 20 days are going to differ a little from what I usually put out. I will try to have time to make actual videos that are the stuff I normally do, but a lot of this is just an old-fashioned family summer vacation. Back in the days when we grew up, extended summer vacations were a thing. I don't know anybody really taking 2 or 3 weeks off and just like taking their family and just being gone for summer. But at least growing up, when I grew up, in the small town that I grew up, we had like bays. We lived right off of Lake Ontario. So we had Port Bay, we had we had a lot of different bays and inlets, and around those bays and inlets we had cottages. And I had summer friends that were just cottagers. Brian Clark was a kid that I grew up with, but I only saw him when school let out because those would be my cottage friends that would come for the summer to stay. I don't see a lot of that anymore. Tell me if I'm wrong, but I'm going to share this because I don't think it's something I get to still do this and still earn a living. So I get to take work with me now. And don't think for a minute I'm not ridiculously grateful about that. Every time you guys join the page, every time you guys throw a super chat my way, when you guys donate to the page or any of that, every single time I am filled with gratitude. I just pray that the entertainment, and that's how I try to look at it, is worth it. So it's like, all right, I see a movie, I do this, I do that, but this is what I do for a living now, and I want to share. Tomorrow I'm taking my, so these are Ray-Ban glasses that Meta has given me to try, and I'm going to take them with me to the Parthenon tomorrow. So what I can do with these is actually stream live directly to Meta. And if you guys, again, I can only do it to Meta. I will try to record video and share it here, but I will be able to stream live from the Parthenon tomorrow. So as they're giving us the tour, I'm going to bring as many of you all along as I can so you guys can experience it that way. How long have I been in Greece? We just got here today. We'll be here for 3 weeks, and we return stateside on the 23rd. Do I believe baby boomers are the one to blame about bad things now, or do you believe Listen, baby boomers are to blame for so many bad things, right? Linda, I love you, honey. Thank you so much. It all helps. Thank you for starting it off. But let me finish what I was saying, because baby boomers are also responsible for some really amazing things. We can't lay blame at the end of at a generation. It's not too hot. I'm coming in from Charlotte. It was hot there. It's hot here. About 90. I think it hit 88 degrees today. I just think it's amazing when I'll still bartend a couple nights a week just to get out of the house and to get in front of actual people and have conversations. And I'll see someone who's acting like what they stereotypically refer to as a Karen today. Sorry to anybody named Karen. And the kids that I work with will be like, that boomer, they're so uptight. All they do is complain. They've never had fun a day in their whole lives. They don't know what it's like to be a kid. And I'm like, dude, that boomer, that Karen, that 70-year-old woman over there that you're saying never has had fun in her whole life, 50 years ago, she was burning her bra, tripping out on acid, and having sex with anything that moved at Woodstock. You don't judge people by what you see today. You don't know what they did when they were your age, and you don't know what you're going to do when you're theirs. Life changes you. Things change. Boomers put a man on the moon for those that believe that a man went on the moon. I do believe that, by the way, but more and more often people don't. The boomers fought for civil rights. The boomers marched in the streets. The boomers tried to end Vietnam. The boomers have done a lot. And they do a lot wrong too. And we'll do a lot wrong too. But this concept that it's time for us to let the next generation fix all the problems, they're not going to. They're not going to fix all the problems. Because no one can. Because they're not supposed to. The fact of the matter is, as we look back and see how perfect life was when we were young, it wasn't. We're cherry picking the best moments of it, because why would we talk about what sucked? That's life. That's what you do. You take the best, you enjoy it, you relive it, you try to reclaim it, you try to revisit it, you try to bring it back. And whatever sucks, you just deal with it and just put it off to the side, because life will never be perfect. And boomers had great music, without a doubt. What time am I touring the Parthenon tomorrow? I think we're getting tickets for 4:30 p.m. here. I pushed it off as late as possible. It closes at 7 our time, which would be noon on the East Coast of the United States. But the live video on Facebook will be streaming after the fact, so you can watch it even when it's not live. And at some point, I will also, guys, thank you. I saw somebody else just donated $3. I will also try to, oh, Jesus. Matthew, dude, how do you think we would have done if somehow we had internet back in the 80s as kids? Also enjoy the vacation. Lunch is on me. Matthew, thank you so much. Guys, I have to, that's obviously not something everybody can do, should do, would do, or could do. But thank you so much. I appreciate it. It'll help. Wow, that just took me out. So time as far as the Parthenon, let's see. If it's going to be starting at 4:30 here, 3, 2, 1, 12, 11, about 9:30 your time if you're on the East Coast of the U.S., it will continue to stream all day on Facebook after the fact, and I'll try to download it and share it onto YouTube as well. But if you want to watch live, jump on Facebook, follow me live on Facebook, set your notifications on Facebook, and I will be doing a lot of the live streaming. Just again, somebody mentioned taking the working man on tour with me. We've been working for this for so long, saving for this for so long. You're taking the working man remote. Job thing is a bit far for going to Greece. And I get to take my job with me, KDR, so that's true. I know I'm way behind in the comments, guys. Thank you, Kiwi. I appreciate your 5 as well, my friend. Show off, Matthew. Dude, that's awesome. Shout out, my friend. A shout out for your friend, Lou. Nice try. Listen, when I see what other people call trolls in the comments by trying to get me in trouble by reading without knowing what I'm reading, I love it. It's no different than us making prank phone calls when we were kids. It's no different from us calling up and asking for Michael Hunt. Goes by the name of Mike, and having somebody shout it out. Do I remember? So to answer your question, though, the $100 question, so to speak, is this. If we had internet available when we were kids, I truly think that we would have used it as we're using it today, to be even more united, to have more shared experiences, because that's what we did with the technology every time we were given it. It's just something in our nature, something, because if we were still raised the way we were raised, then this is what we would have done with it. Hey, James, how are you, my friend? We always use things to bring ourselves together, and I think that is insane. T-Man says, are you in Athens? I've been to Athens. I love it. I am. I'm in Athens until the 6th of the month. On the 6th, we'll be heading to the island of Paros. So you guys are going to go island hopping with us. And then on the 11th, the bulk of my family lives in Thessaloniki and Kalithea. So we're going to be going to those. We're going to the city of Thessaloniki and the beaches of Kalithea. And you guys are welcome to come too. I agree, Matt. I love that we grew up as the bridge on technology. I wouldn't want to live in a world today without internet. I think it's given me a lot. I wouldn't want to live in a world today without access to the music I have access to to the movies. If I want to watch Back to the Future tonight, I can watch it tonight. If I want to throw up, I don't know, anything, John Candy movies, whatever I'm in the mood for. If I want to watch European Vacation that I'm living, I can see it. That's an inherently good thing. But I like that when we grew up, like you, we didn't have it because it made us maybe appreciate things as they stand today a little more. I just saw you short about 70s, 80s, and 90s. I can agree on the 90s. I was born in 87. I don't remember that tiny bit of it. Yeah, the 70s, 80s, and 90s for me were super distinctive. And I remember the 2000s. That would be my 30s. 2010s, my 40s. But there's just something about those 3 decades had such straight representations. The 70s had a feel, a vibe. The 70s were the 70s, and they were groovy, and they were analog, and they were gritty, and it just was raw and inappropriate and funny and just 70s. 80s, you know how here, best analogy I can give you. The 3 decades of my relative youth were the Wizard of Oz. The 70s were Dorothy in black and white, going off without even the sense of stranger danger, walking into that guy's the horse trailer thing without any regard for personal safety. It was black and white. It was analog. There was no color in the world in the 70s unless you were tripping out on acid. But then that acid trip took you to the 80s, where all of a sudden she lands in Oz, and it is blowing up, and there's color everywhere. And the 80s were that color. It was Technicolor. It was awesome. It was bright. It was neon. It was munchkins dancing in the street, hopped up on cocaine. That was the 80s. And then the 90s is when she basically came back home again. We gave up some of that neon. We gave up some of the color, and we got in some of the grunge, and we got a little gritty, and we had the Seattle scene, and Keanu Reeves, and River Phoenix, and Reality Bites kind of bringing us back to earth. So that's the best analogy I can come up with, off the top of my head. Linda says we actually were safer in the 80s. I will tell you statistically, Linda, we were not. More violent crime in the 80s by far. I'm having Greek spoken flashbacks, John. I dated a Greek girl years ago. I appreciate that, Nick, and I also appreciate the fact that I'm ridiculously lucky. Yeah, more violent crime, more abductions, more crime across the board. What was dating like for me? I was the dorkiest of dorks all through high school. Maybe by junior year. I started coming into my own a little bit, but by then it was already baked in. When you are a somewhat nerdy kid in high school, the girls had it a little different. When we had girls that were a little nerdy in middle school, remember the girls whose parents didn't allow them to wear pants? If you're younger and watching this, it was kind of a thing, especially in small towns across America, that even into the 70s and early 80s, a lot of girls didn't wear pants. They wore dresses to school. Some of those girls, as they entered high school, parents' rules relaxed, and all of a sudden, those girls became very popular. People noticed that they were pretty, or they were funny, or they came out of the shell, whatever. Those girls basically changed their personas, their personalities, their reputations in high school. As a guy, if you were dorky in elementary school and in middle school and started high school being dorky, no matter what happened, you finished being dorky. It was baked in, and that was me. So I didn't date a lot in high school. But college, I started bartending, and like I said, I started coming into my own a little bit. So college was fun. Let's leave it at that. What's going on, Wicked Bro? What's good? 76 here. Count as Gen X. Damn right. Brandon says 2 channels, either ABC and PBS or ABC and CBS. We had ABC, CBS, and NBC, as well as PBS and the UHF channel, channel 31. So we had 5 channels. But the cool thing is, we grew up in a small town between 2 cities. So we had Rochester's version of ABC, CBS, and NBC, and we had Syracuse's version of ABC, CBS, and NBC. So it sort of doubled our channels, even though a lot of times what was on Channel 5 and Channel 10, Rochester CBS and Syracuse CBS, they'd be the same. Sometimes they weren't. I love hearing the wise Gen X advice. If any Gen Xer tells you that they are sage and or wise, they are lying. Wise maybe, because wise comes with experience. Wise doesn't equate into intelligent. You can be highly intelligent and have no wisdom. And you can be an idiot that stumbled through life and through that stumbling gain a lot of wisdom. So I'll take the wisdom thing because we're old enough to be wise. T-Man says, I was lucky I was a jock. I was not. Thank you, Val. Good to see you, buddy. We just had to make it, figure things out. What's up? Buffalo Jim, what's going on? 69 Gen Xer. But yeah, but again, it's time that'll bring the wisdom. It's like, how did you learn to navigate without GPS? By getting lost a lot. A lot of Gen Xers will tell you they learned to navigate the world without GPS because of their amazing ability to read paper maps. Yeah, part of it. But for me, more than being able to read a map, getting lost is what taught me to know my way around the world. What's going on, Record Hound? Yep, when I got to Buffalo, it was WGRZ, WKBW, which wasn't WKBW back then, was it? Thought that one changed. WIVB. I still miss Irv. I think he was WKBW. I'm not sure. It was a long time ago. It was a compass. I got lost a lot. And I was one of those people that when I would get lost, I wouldn't backtrack. That would be the smart thing to do, to put the car in reverse, to make a U-ey, to turn around, and just trace your steps backwards until you figure it out. No, I just kept going, making lefts, making rights, making lefts, making rights, thinking sooner or later something would make sense, and sooner or later something did. To get lost is just me mapping my area. Perfectly well put. One of my favorite hats for sure. WKBW is also a radio station 1520. Yeah, and that's exactly how it was in Rochester too. We had a radio station and a TV station, both WHAM. Imagine if minimum wage never changed. Well, maybe it would have kept inflation down. It seems like the more money that people make, the more money that we spend either by design or by market-based factors. Doesn't seem like anybody ever gets richer when wages go up. Could be wrong. What's going on, Eric? Who's this Goomba? Ask your mom. Imagine delivering pizzas in the 80s. Not only did they not have GPS to get them where they were going, but the guys delivering pizza back in the 80s also had the threat that if they didn't make it in, what was it, an hour, 30 minutes or less. If they didn't make it in 30 minutes or less, the pizza was free. And by free, that meant it came out of the driver's pocket more often than not. How much was I paid for my first job? First job, no pay. I worked for my parents at the restaurant. I got to keep my tips. Second job was working as a stock boy in a service star, hardware store, and that was minimum wage, $3.35 an hour. Bro, give us advice why these think that they are special. I don't know. Working for family can be the worst. Yeah, but it teaches you really to appreciate a boss. If you can put up with your parents at work, because they're going to be tough on you. If you can get through your parents as a boss, by and large, you'll be able to put up with anyone as a boss. 27 years at Kodak. Hey, shout out. Love from North Korea. How are you, Jay? I worked at Subway for $3.85. I remember asking my first raise. I was probably 15. And I went up to my boss who had been making $3.35 for a year and felt that I was worth more, and he gave me 15 cents. And I just remember thinking that was amazing because now I got up to $3.50. Just the idea, the $3.50, go Bills, $3.50 just seemed like so much more money. How's Jim Kelly doing? Last I heard, pretty well. Saw him at a couple different things online, a couple different specials towards the end of last year's $9 an hour in 1999. Once I started going into the service industry and bartending, hourly wage went out the window. And I didn't care. I would have worked for free. If a busy bar told me that they would charge me $10 an hour to work and they would provide me with the establishment, the music, the entertainment, the liquor, the beer, the sodas, the mixers for my $10 an hour that I pay them, they'd provide all of that. I probably would have taken the job because bartending, even back in the 90s, I was probably pulling in close to $50 an hour. $1 at a time, $2 at a time. Super Bowl Ravens or Bills? I'm hoping it's the Bills. Enough is enough is enough. I did chores for an allowance. I had to clean the. I never got an allowance. My parents figured the allowance was that I was allowed to live there. The allowance was I was allowed to not go hungry. The allowance was that I was allowed to not go to school naked. They provided food, clothing, roof over my head, and all the love we could take. And in return for that, I did chores. I worked. And in retrospect, it was a fair deal. The whole concept of a job for us was our parents told us no early and often. It was the style. It was the mode of operandi. It was the mode of operations. It was the MO. It was totally, completely, and expected that a parent would say no. Our job was to ask for things. Their job was to say no. Not even maybe. Like today, I know parents, I even did it with my kids, saying maybe when you really mean no. We'll see when you really mean no. Ask your father or your mother when you really mean no. My parents didn't play those games. They said no. So us getting a job was we heard no so often that we're like, well, they're not saying no, I can't have it. They're saying no, they won't buy it for me. So we worked. Because even birthday money, even Christmas money, even your aunt or uncle or godparent trying to slide you $20 and say, here, buy yourself something nice. My mother sometimes would intercept those funds and say, let me hold it for you to keep it safe. Never to be seen again. So, yeah, we worked so that we could buy our own stuff. My mom always said, we'll see, which never meant yes. See, my mom was outright, no. But you knew the code at least. Like these kids, when they hear maybe, they must be a special kind of stupid. They must be a different kind of dense. Because a lot of kids that I see, I'll see it at the restaurant or at the bar. I'll say, Mom, can I get dessert after dinner? Maybe. And you see the kids' eyes light up. Mom, can we go to, the toy store to Best Buy after we get out of here? Maybe. And the kids' eyes light up. I'm like, dude, you're not going anywhere. They don't get it. If your parents told you maybe, you knew they meant no. My mom just cut straight to the chase and said no or yes, and the few times when we got it. But yes even meant no sometimes because yes meant she'll get me what she thinks I asked for. And when your parents are Greek immigrant parents, that wasn't the same thing. That meant Luke Skywalker could very well turn out to be Captain Kirk action figure. That meant that the Bills coat you wanted so desperately is the Chicago Cubs of the same color. Close enough. And it was cheaper. Words to live by. I hate maybe or I'll consider it. Any good fireworks shows for the 4th? No. Unfortunately, American Independence Day, unless maybe the U.S. Embassy is spitting distance from us where we're staying, maybe they'll do something. Did I ever play the game of getting a no from mom so then you went and asked dad for a different answer? Not often because it didn't end well for anybody. If mom said no and I got a yes on those rare occasions out of dad, that was a really bad thing. Because then I got blistered for asking twice. Then my dad got yelled at too, and that he didn't like that either. What's good on vacation? My mom is on vacation with us. My mother is here. Me, my wife, and our 2 girls. My younger brother and his wife and his 3 kids. My older brother and his wife. So it is a caravan of 12. When did I feel free from the parents? I'll let you know when it happens. When my dad passed, I guess, free of him unwillingly, unintentionally. When you're Greek, especially, I don't think you're ever free of your parents. If they're here, yeah, my mom still tells me what to do and I do it. Mentioned Greek immigrants. What did you think of my big fat Greek wedding? It was spot on. I mean, honestly, spot on. How long will we be in Greece? Until the 23rd. We return to the States on the 24th of July. Time on my side says I'm Portuguese and 53. My mom still tells me what to do. Amen. What the heck are you talking about? Whatever the heck y'all want me to talk about. My first car, did I buy it myself? Nope. Although the majority of Xers bought their first car, I know for themselves. One of the Angel, if you go on Facebook, I'm sharing a ton of pictures. It's easier to share photos there on Instagram than it is to share on YouTube, but I am starting to upload onto YouTube as well. Oh, as far as the car, it was expected that even when I went to college, which was at the University of Buffalo, Buffalo was about a 2 hour drive from my hometown. It was expected that every weekend I would leave school. I would leave my Monday through Friday job and school. So I did both at the same time, drive the 2 hours back to my hometown and bartend for my parents on the weekends. I booked the bands for the bar for the weekends. I hired the staffing and the payroll at 18. And then come Sunday, I would drive back to school and do the whole thing over again every week. So my parents bought me my first car to do that. It was a 1985 Chrysler LeBaron that I ended up with. You're so hyper for what you've been through the past 24 hours. It's just, yeah. Did you at least bring your laundry home too? I did. That might be a lie. I could have. My mom would have. But I also remember a very large walk-in closet with, I found at one point that it was easier just to buy clothes than it was to do laundry, because at least where I was in college, there wasn't laundry in the apartment. You had to go to the laundromat, and it was a pain in the ass. So I remember my mom came back to Buffalo with me one day, opened that closet, and just rough estimate, I think she counted, I owned something like 19 pairs of jeans and like 42 pairs of boxer shorts. I just kept buying more. Go Bills! Sorry, Relic, didn't see it. Go Bills. My bad. Dude, 10804 in terms of donations, mostly on the back of Matthew Clark. Matthew, thank you again. Linda, thank you. Linda, you're not a mod? Well, you are now. Thank you, Linda. Thank you, Kiwi. And again, thank you, Matthew. I will be going streaming live from Facebook again tomorrow in the late morning. No, Linda, I appreciate it. Guys, there's so many of you and one of me. Even the tiniest bit on a regular basis makes all the difference in the world. It allows me to be able to take trips and share it. It allows me to do things like when I get back from Greece, I'll be going to Raleigh in order to help promote the GalaxyCon there and bring you guys the 90210 reunion for those that liked watching that. William Shatner's going to be there with a TJ Hooker reunion. So all that stuff, the little bit of help or the lot of bit of help, the contributions you guys make, the sharing of the videos, the watching, the liking, the commenting, everybody helps, and I appreciate it. One day I'm going to come have a drink and donate something where YouTube doesn't take a cut. Actually, Matthew, YouTube is pretty good. If you guys happen to be on TikTok, I would tell you that giving gifts on TikTok is the world's biggest scam. TikTok takes more than half, I think. Facebook on their diamonds, I don't think takes a lot, but YouTube is the most generous. I think, something 95%, if not 100%. I'm pretty sure I get the vast majority of what you guys donate. So thank you so much for that. Just got a wrench? Oh, moderator. You've earned it. No, YouTube is really generous because they recognize that without content, there's nobody that can watch. YouTube takes 30%. At least I'm not seeing it on my end, Black Star. From what maybe it depends on if you're talking gifts or super chats. I certainly don't see that 30% cut on the super chat. Do we get this and Sunday night? I'm hoping. Vacation's going great, John. We just landed here today. Technically yesterday, because it's 2 o'clock in the morning. Thank you for joining, Tongue. Kevin, hello. Angel, I don't hate any social media platform. Some do some things better, others do other things better. Facebook and Instagram are really good in terms of the photo platform. Jet lag, well, it is 2:15 in the morning and I'm doing this instead of sleeping. Vacation in Greece sounds lovely. It is. I'm beyond grateful that I'm blessed enough to be here. Hey, Luna, good to see you. Hey, everyone. Did you already talk about Michael Madsen passing on this morning? No, Kristen. As a matter of fact, I missed that completely. I've been a little out of touch from when we landed and just have been running around Athens today. Do I find Greece to be very slippery? Only if somebody spills some. You're welcome, Black Star. You earned it. Yeah, I'll have to throw something out there for Michael tomorrow if I have a chance. I am in the future. But I hate to leave 120 of you standing, but I'm probably going to end it. Watch tomorrow. The weather in Greece is in the 80s all week for the coming week and a half. Go Bills. It's going to be sunny and hot. Tomorrow's winning lottery numbers. I could tell you, but then I'd get in trouble with the Time Bandit Warriors FBI people in charge thing. Thank you guys, appreciate it. So for me, past time to go to bed. Look for tomorrow, tons of content, especially around actually touring. If you have access to Meta, it's going to be your best bet. Primarily Facebook. If you hate it, I get it. Everybody goes where they want to go. I'll try to share as much to this platform as I can as well. How are you doing, Curious Possum? You're welcome. Have a good one, John. Thank you, Kristen. Thank you, Mark. Thank you, Matthew. Thank you, Matt. Thank you, Time on my side. Stacy, glad you made it. Good to see you. Record Hound, thank you. Linda, sending love. Kiwi, talk to you soon. Marianne, Blackstone, Lewis, all of y'all. Sending nothing but love. I will see you soon. Peace.